Welcome to episode 53 of our ComfyUI tutorial series. Today I'll show you how I trained a LoRA for Flux Kontext, from how I made the training images, what settings I used, how I used it with Flux Kontext and the Nunchaku version, and also how to convert the LoRA to make it compatible with the Nunchaku version, so make sure to watch until the end. And of course, you'll get all the workflows and resources for it for free. I'm using the Fal AI website. I don't do local training because it costs me more than training a LoRA online. During that time, I can't work, and it also requires a lot of video memory, so I prefer to pay a few dollars to get something fast and easy to use, without complex installation or errors. The training is different compared with Flux LoRA because it uses before and after image pairs to teach the model a transformation or concept. So you need a start image and an end image in order for it to work. You can add multiple pairs to train it better. I will use 10 pairs for my LoRA training because the price is okay and it seems to be enough for most LoRAs. You can also add all the images at once from here. So remember to make them in that format with start and end, like it's shown in the example here. You can also add a TXT file, but since I'm not using many images, it should be enough if I just add the trigger words. I wanted to make a LoRA that can transform my sketches into fantasy game icons. I have 10 pairs here, all named as you can see with an index number, and start for the start image and end for the end image. I did the same for the rest of the images. This is how the image looks, and here is the sketch I'll use in training. I'm adding them on Discord so you can check them out. I used Fluxmania to generate this type of digital painting icon. To create those pairs, I had to think in reverse to make it easier for me. I opened Photoshop and this icon that I liked, then I created a solid white background on top, added an empty layer, and reduced the background opacity so I could still see the icon faintly. Then I used a black brush and started painting over it. If the design is symmetrical, you can use symmetry to sketch it faster. At the end, you just export the sketch. Here's how the original and the sketch looked. When I sketched, I tried to draw all the edges of the designs and keep everything in the same place, so the design would be generated from the sketch in the same position. To be able to run the Flux Kontext Trainer, you need to be logged in. I need some credits to train, so I go to my profile and click on Account. Under Billing, the minimum you can purchase is $10. With that, you can train 4 LoRAs if you use only 10 image pairs for each LoRA. Let's purchase those credits. You can pay with a card. I'll use Google Pay in this case since it's easier for me. You can select your currency or use dollars. Let's pay. I had $2 left, and with these $10, it should be enough to train some more LoRAs. Back to the trainer, you can see on the right some LoRAs I've trained. Here's how I trained the Fantasy Icons LoRA. Click on Add Images and go to the folder where you have the images. Select all the images by clicking the first one and Shift-clicking the last, then open them. Check the preview to make sure the start and end are in the correct order, and nothing is reversed. In my case, the sketch is the start and the final icon is the end. For steps, I leave it at 1000 because I only have 10 images. But if you have more, you might want to increase it and experiment with that value. Now, for default caption, this is the trigger word. If it's a style LoRA, like in this case, where it changes the style from sketch to fantasy icon, then I use these trigger words. But you can also use words like convert to plush toy style or apply pencil drawing style, so adapt it to fit your LoRA. Because we need to use this LoRA in ComfyUI, you must pay attention to this if you want the LoRA to work. Click on More, and where it says Output LoRA Format, select Comfy, or it won't work properly with ComfyUI. So it's pretty simple. You upload the image pairs, add the captions, set the steps, select Comfy for the Output LoRA format, and then click Start. For me, with 10 pairs, it took around 30 minutes to train a LoRA and cost me $2.5. More steps and more images will increase the cost. You'll see the process on the right, and when it's done, it will say completed. To get the LoRA, all you need to do is click on Show Files, and then, where it says Diff Users LoRA File, you'll find the actual trained LoRA ready for download. Just click Download and place it in your LoRAs folder. Of course, you can give it any name you want that's easy to remember. Get the free workflows from Discord. I created one workflow for the regular Flux Kontext that uses a Power LoRA loader to load the LoRA. And for those who watch the Nunchaku episode and have everything installed and can run Nunchaku, I also created the fast Nunchaku version with the Nunchaku LoRA loader. I'll show you in a few minutes how to convert the LoRA so it's compatible with the Nunchaku workflow, because if you try to use the LoRA directly from Fal, it will give an error. And of course, in this pixaroma note, you have all the info with the models and nodes you need. In this case, we need the extra LoRA that I trained. You can download it from here and place it in the LoRAs folder. Same for the regular version. It's the same LoRA that I converted and works for both versions. I added the trigger words here in this node, but if you train your own LoRA, make sure to add your own trigger words so they're easy to remember. We need those trigger words to appear in the positive prompt, so I added them in the text encoder. Then here I loaded the fantasy items LoRA. I also loaded the sketch, and now I can run and test the workflow. The result is this fantasy game item. You can see in the comparer how it was transformed from sketch to final item. If you want a bigger version, you can enable the upscaler, and you'll get double the size for that icon. Let's also try the Nunchaku version. If I try to run this workflow, everything seems to work until it reaches the LoRA, and then this happens. I get a LoRA UNet final layer error. So the LoRA that worked with the normal nodes and Flux Kontext doesn't work by default with Nunchaku. I did some research and found a solution. I posted the solution and workflows on Discord. Join the server using the link from the video description since it's free. Look for the Pixaroma Workflows channel. If for some reason you can't see it, just type in a channel where you have permission to type, like the welcome channel. Type the hash sign and then Pixaroma, then select Pixaroma Workflows from the list and press enter. That will create a link to the Pixaroma Workflows channel. If I click it, I get there and can see all episodes organized. Scroll down to today's episode, which is episode 53, and click the link. Here are the instructions on how to convert the LoRA. Step 1 is to go to this link and download the patch file by clicking the download button. To make it easier to run, place it in the LoRAs folder inside your ComfyUI models folder. Then for step 2, to make things easier, I created a bat file. Download this bat file and place it in the same LoRA folder. Basically, the bat file will run the Python script and convert your LoRA if you drag your LoRA onto it. So let me show you how easy it is to convert. From the Fal website, after you finish your training, you can download the LoRA. Or maybe you got one from Civit AI that wasn't compatible and you can try these steps. I download it into the LoRAs folder and give it a test name, like my LoRA, so it's easy to see. After it finishes downloading, you should see it in your LoRAs folder, together with the bat file you downloaded from Discord and the Python file you downloaded from Hugging Face. To convert it, all you need to do is drag your LoRA onto the bat file. The bat file will run the Python script and create a new LoRA that works with Nunchaku. Press any key to continue, and now you have the Nunchaku compatible version. The original stays untouched, and you also get a copy. I usually rename it to something easy to remember and test it. And if it works, I delete the original to save space, since the Nunchaku version also works with the regular version of Flux Kontext. Let's test it in the Nunchaku version workflow to see if it still gives an error. Go to Edit and click Refresh Node Definitions so it can detect the new LoRA. Click here and load the LoRA. You can type its name. I named mine Fantasy Items. Now, let's run the workflow. And look at that. It passed the LoRA loader without any problem. And the result is this one. So everything works great most of the time, but depending on the training and how Flux Kontext works, it can still have some bugs sometimes. This is how I use it and why I decided to create that LoRA. I create a square image in Photoshop with a white background. Then I get a black color, create a new layer, and pick a brush. You can use symmetry if you're doing something symmetrical, or just draw something organic like a random shape. Then you can save the image or merge it temporarily to be able to copy it and paste it into the Load Image node in ComfyUI, or just save the image and load it. Now, if I run this workflow, here's one of the problems I was talking about. The image generated is a little larger than the sketch. If I try another seed, the same thing happens. You can see the line didn't follow the design. I think the issue is with how I trained the LoRA and how the sketches were. All my sketches were fitting the canvas more, and this sketch is a bit smaller. See, all those sketches have little space around them and fit the canvas like an icon. So if I go in Photoshop and make the sketch fit the canvas so it's larger, and then try again in ComfyUI, you can see now the sketch and the generated design are aligned. But another thing to consider is the line thickness. Because the line was so thick, it created a visible edge in the design, and I don't want that. So let me do another sketch with the thickness I usually draw, since my lines are a bit thinner. That's why it's important to train a LoRA on your own drawing style and the result you want, and also make sure the line and the result are aligned. I just finished drawing a shield in the style I usually draw. Now I load that sketch into ComfyUI, and when I test it, you can see how great the design is. It has that game item look I wanted, with nice details. You can add more words after the trigger words to control it more. For example, I can say it is made from gold metal and emerald gems, and now I got this cool version of it in gold. Let's replace the emerald with ruby, and now we got another cool version. So now I can save a lot of time converting my sketches into a final render, and it followed my sketch pretty well. Then I can enable the upscaler and run the workflow, and now I got double the size of that design. The game item looks good, ready to put in a game inventory. It would have taken me a few hours to digitally paint that by hand with my Wacom tablet, and even if I train the images on a white background, I can still change the background. For example, I can put a black background, and now I have a new design on a black background. I also tried with other sketches to see if it works. So even if it was made for fantasy items, I managed to use it on other sketches, like this bunny. See how I got this bunny colored in pink? But be careful with the elements you add since it might modify the design on certain seeds. For example, on this seed it added a background and kept it quite similar. But if I try a different seed, now it added grass underneath and pushed the design up, so now it's not aligned anymore. So try different seeds and see what works. Some words might trigger context to move things around to make space for them. Another example is with an anime girl. With this simple prompt, all should have worked just fine. But on this specific seed, it didn't color the anime girl. If I go and change the seed and try again, now it's colored and it kept the proportions and everything. So try different seeds, since some seem to be bad seeds if you understand what I mean. For the best results, do sketches in the style I trained it for, and it should work just great. I also tried to see if I can train a person or character LoRA. You can get the LoRA from here. So I have this photo of a woman, and I want to replace her with another woman, but not just any woman, a specific one that I trained the LoRA on. I have some trigger words that let me replace the woman with the one from my LoRA. And the result is this one. You can see how I got a similar image, but with my girl with purple hair instead. For example, here I added some extra text, like she has short purple hair. If I remove that, I should get another woman, but still with the same face from my purple-haired girl. Now, I didn't do enough training or testing for the character LoRA, but I can show you what I did and maybe you can improve the process. I created the girl with AI, and of course the hardest part is getting images for training. If you have real photos of a person, that's great. The first step was to generate 4 images of the same woman in different outfits. I used the Fluxmania workflow from episode 50 because I wanted a bit more realistic style. I used a long prompt for each pose, describing how she stands and what she wears. The result was an image with those poses. Try different seeds until they all look similar enough to work with. Then I enabled the upscaler to get better quality images. The result was this image with a bigger size for each of those poses. For the second step, I used Photoshop to remove the background and place a white one behind since the original background wasn't perfectly white. But you can also use a different background. Just keep it blurred and not too detailed so it doesn't confuse the AI. Then I used the Fluxmania upscaler again on those results to get a bit more detail. I used this workflow and the result was an image with some extra sharpness and polish. For step 4, I selected some of the images and used an in-paint workflow. You can also use the Nunchaku version of it. I masked the girl's body, make sure your selection is slightly bigger than the body, and saved the mask. Instead of the red top, I got a white top. So now I had a different version of the image, and it helps the model learn that it needs to focus on changing the face. To get different angles, I use Kling AI to convert my image to video. I used a simple prompt like 360-degree rotation to make her rotate, so you can pause and get certain frames from the video. I did the same for another video where I wanted her to smile, just to have one image where she smiles so it's more different. Then in Media Player Classic or other players, you should have an option to go to the frame that looks better and save that image. After that, you can use the Fluxmania upscaler on those images to get better details. So all the images with the girl are the end results, but we also need before images, like how it was before. I used a Flux image to image workflow with high denoise to get random images of women instead. So instead of my woman, I get a similar woman but with a random face. That way, the AI can learn that any random face when the LoRA is used will be replaced with the trained face. Here are the pairs I did, with different faces as the start image, and my purple-haired girl as the end image. If you can do 15 to 20 images, you'll probably get better results. And if you use real photos, it will be even more consistent. Just don't use photos with glasses or other objects unless you want those to appear in your generations. Then on the Fal website, you add your images and make sure they are in the right order, with the before image being the random girl and the after image being the purple-haired girl. For the trigger word, I used replace the woman with pixaroma, where I replaced the I with 1. It's important to use a made-up word that isn't already part of the training. I usually search on Google, and if there aren't a lot of results with that word, it's usually good enough. When you're ready, hit start and let it train. I downloaded the LoRA, converted it to make it compatible with Nunchaku, and tested it on this woman. As you can see, it picks up all the details, but changes the face. If you don't want it to copy everything exactly, you might want to use a random girl with a different style during training so it learns that the hair should stay consistent no matter what. But personally, I kind of like that it can match the input image closely. If you want to keep the same pose and everything, instead of including a completely different person during training, you can in-paint your original image to give it a new random face. That way, when you train, it should keep the same body and pose like the original, and only the face will be different. For just 10 images, the result isn't bad. Some seeds look very similar, others not so much. I had a lot of portraits, and those seem to work better. You can try with 15 to 20 images and maybe increase the steps to see if you can improve the LoRA. I did another LoRA that lets me create ideas for mandalas where I can turn an image into a mandala. These are the training images. For the start, I used a slice of the mandala, and for the end, the final mandala. I recorded an action in Photoshop where it took the same slice from each mandala and saved it separately so I could use it as the start image, hoping it could then generate the full mandala. These mandalas are some old designs I made from scratch. No AI involved back then. I use Photoshop and Adobe Illustrator. For the workflow, you can draw a sketch of a portion of a mandala, and the trigger words are transform the image to mandala. I got a mandala like this, so it depends on your image. If I change the seed and try again, I get a slightly different result. Then I was thinking, what happens if I try it with an image that's not a sketch? Will it still work? For some images, like this book, it worked. But for others, like this woman, it didn't. And it just gave me some kind of sketch. So with objects, it seems to work better. Like when I tried it with this cube, it worked fine. So it's fun to experiment with different inputs. I had to change how I convert my text to audio. And instead of 11 Labs, I switched to a different platform since it was costing me a fortune to generate on 11 Labs. Some might like the new voice, some might hate it, but it's about 5 times cheaper for me this way. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. Don't forget to check the Discord for workflows. Thank you, Legends, and everyone who subscribed to the membership and keeps this channel going. Please leave a like and a comment to help with the algorithm. Have a great day.